piano students, we're practicing trill exercise this week. I have been making 2 videos each week. This is the first video of this week. It is based on hand exercise number 46. The entire exercise has 62 measures. I'm going to focus on just the first 6 measures. So I play measure 1 through 6 and then repeat the first measure, and my last measure is just holding the arrival note. So my version becomes 8 measures. You don't need to find the hand book. Pattern is simple. So let's check the pattern. Now you're going to say, this is similar to walking exercises. Yes, you're right. We did this walking exercise a couple weeks ago. Let's compare with that walking exercise. There's a little difference. Here I'm going to show it on the table. Walking exercise, we did it on the table. And at that time, I recommend you to move your fingers high. So I was doing it like this. And also listen to the tapping. On the table exercise, I was trying to make fingers stronger and then let fingers move. But trill is different. So I'm not actually asking you to move fingers that high. So not too high and also not heavy. So make a light movement and just enough movement. So watch it. So my fingers are not moving high like I was doing it on the table exercise, the walking exercise. So here is a trill exercise again. I'm moving my fingers fast, but it's not high. How about the tapping sound? Can you hear the tapping sound? How light it is? So here was actually, this one was the this heavier tapping sound was the walking exercise. Now this is the trill exercise. You have to make it light. So try to listen to the tapping sound. Now try with a different finger. Okay, as you can guess, we're gonna start from the countable tempo and gradually increase number of repeats and speed. If you have a hand book and check the metronome marking, it says metronome number quarter notes equals 60, that is starting point, and last number is 108. So you can start from metronome number 60, but I think I'm going to start a little bit slower today. So I'm going to start metronome number 48. So we're putting 16th notes, 4 16th notes in one beat. So metronome 48 is going to be 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and just repeating 2 notes, which is C and D. So how about this? Let's write down the pattern. I'll give you the pattern. Measure number 1 is C and D. Just repeating the C and D. Measure number 2 is E and D. Measure number 3 is E and F. Measure number 4 is G and F. Measure number 5, E and F. Measure number 6, E and D. Measure number 7, 1 and 2. And measure number 8, just the holding number 1. Now another thing, when you look at hand exercises, start really low, because the hand exercise, you're supposed to start low and then go up high and you come back to low. But the first six measure, if you look at, actually there's a repeat sign in it, and my book also recommend you have to repeat first six measures many times, and when you can do well, then you can move to the next measure. Now if you stay in that position, it's very uncomfortable, so I'm going to recommend you to change your hand position. So my right hand, number one is C, that is one octave higher than middle C. Here's the middle C, and here's my right hand, number one. And then my left hand, number five, is also C, but that's going to be one octave lower than middle C. So that's my left hand. So in that position, you have a nice hand position. And in that case, you can actually hear better because it's the octave apart. So you can hear when you have a left hand problem, you're going to be able to tell you're struggling. Let's check the tempo, and we're going to do it together. You play on the piano with me. Here's metronome number 48. 1E and 2E and 3E and go. Very good. Now, if that is too fast, you can slow down. Or if that is too slow, you can increase the tempo and practice. Start from measure 60 if it is too slow. Now, when you practice this, did you have any measure that you were struggling? Make sure you check those spots. So let's see my measure number 7, which is same as measure number 1. Let's say you're struggling with that, which is C and the D. That is finger number 5 and 4 in my left hand. Usually right hand is better, so we can just practice left hand. So let's say you have trouble spot C and D repeating, which is finger number 5 and 4. Then you can just practice that measure separate. So how do we do? Just 4 notes. So 4 notes, stop, 4 notes, stop. And then we can increase the number, right? And then increase the speed at the end. So let's try same tempo. Let's try 4 notes, C, D, C, D, and then stop on the C. So C, D, C, D, go. Okay, so I'm repeating C, D, C, D, C, and the next one is D, C, D, C, D, so 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. Next beat is 4, 5, 4, 5, 4. Okay, so I'm going to keep repeating like that. So let's try again. 1E and go. Good. Now you can, I just did the 4 sets. You can do the 8 sets if you want. Now how about instead of the 1 beat, you want to have 2 beat. So can we try the 2 beat and then hold for 2 counts? Here's a 48 again. 1E and go. 1, 2, hold, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some something very important. Okay, as I mentioned before, you can move your hand. Don't shake your hand. You might think that helps you, but the sound is a little bit not settled. Compared to that one, that I only moved my fingers and I didn't shake my arm at all and my hand was not moving. Watch it again. Compared to that one, I'm going to shake my hand. It looked weird, but also sound was different. So piano technique is the same thing. We want to feel comfortable, we want to move fast, but also it's supposed to sound good. If it sounds a little bit weird and it sounds tensed, it's not a good playing. So musical playing and the technique is actually related. You need to be able to achieve both at the same time. Now let's go back to our exercise. So that was the finger number left hand, 5 and 4. Repeat. So how about we were doing the 2 beats? So now let's do 3 beats. Beat 1, 2, 3. Repeat those patterns. And beat 4, we're gonna hold, and only 1 count to hold. And the next one, repeat 3 beats and then hold. So let's try that again. The metronome 48. 1E and go. 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, hold. Okay, good. Now we're ready for 4 count, and then we're gonna stop for 2 count. 1E and go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. You can practice like this for finger number 3 and 4 if you have trouble on that spot. How about you want to do more than 4 beats? Do you want to try 6 beats? 1E and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. Hold. Next. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. Hold. How did you do? Did you do well? This is the good spot to stop, and maybe you want to repeat it a couple times on that exercise. If you want to practice with 3 and 4, you can do that. Here is another thing to think about it. I said before, even when you practice on the piano, I recommend to practice on the table or just close the lid. So practice on the lid. So you can do it here. You're saying, oh, I want to practice the 5 and 4, and my 5 and 4 are not that great. I keep moving weirdly. So you want to try on the lid. So let's try on the lid. You can actually do the same tempo and then on the lid. Now, if you can do it on the lid, that means you can play on the piano. Then I recommend you to slow down. But if you can do the same tempo, that was a 48 on the lid. So if you repeat it on the lid several times, and when you move the piano, you should be able to do it. So let's say you were good with the 3 beat, but then you struggled 4 beat, putting it 4 beat together or 6 beat together. You want to really do 6 beats in a row, but you can't do it. Practice on the lead. So let's try 4 beats on the lead. So here, same tempo. 1E and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. And next set. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. Okay, How did you do? The 4 count was easier. So after that, you can move the piano. Now let's try 4 beats on the piano. 1 E and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. Next, 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. Was it easier? So you need to be able to go back and forth. Try on the lead or table. Like sometimes I practice up here. So practice on the table and then practice on the piano. You're supposed to be able to feel exactly the same. So if you feel relaxed when you're practicing on the lead, piano lead, then you should be able to keep that same feeling, same relaxed feeling, and then transfer it to piano keyboard, and you should be able to play same way theoretically. Okay. Now remember, if you want to play fast, you have to relax, and then you have to move your fingers light. If you can play on the keyboard, let's say you have no problem playing on the table, but you can somehow play on the keyboard or the piano actual keys, that means you have a little more tension. You're not relaxed enough. And the next thing is, maybe your fingers are too heavy, your movements are too heavy. You have to move light. So when you practice on the table, listen to your tapping. Make sure you have a light movement. Now let's try hands together. I think we practiced left hand enough. Hands together, I have 2 different versions. One is as written as the handbook, which we just played, which means I have the same notes, but the finger number is combined with the easier finger and the hard finger. So right hand 1, 2 is easy, but left hand 5, 4, they're a lot harder, but I'm playing the same notes. Now later, here too, right hand 5, 4 is harder than left hand 1 and 2. So in this combination, my right hand will help my left hand to play. So 5, 4 is a little awkward, so that will help. My right hand will help the steady beat. So you can play in the steady beat because one hand is easier. That is one way to practice. Now, the other way to practice, I can actually play the same finger number. Then you're going to have different notes. So left hand is C and D. Now, if I play the right hand with 5 and 4, it's actually G and F. So I'll show it slowly, same finger number, but different notes. So it's going to sound like this. Okay, the next measure is going to be the next measure is a 3, 4. So let me play that actually slowly, but also repeating only 2 beats. Three, 2, 1, 2. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Okay, so let's go back to our metronome number 48. Let's try with the 48. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and go. 5, 4, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. If you need to repeat 3, 4, repeat 3, 4 many times. If you need to repeat 5 and 4, you can repeat the 5, 4 many times. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.